Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bright Founders Talk at Temi. Temi is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast, where we bring you the most inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. And each week, we interview successful leaders who share their unique journeys and valuable insights. I'm your host, Barry, and today we're lucky enough to be joined by a remarkable guest, Idan Yalovich, who is founder and group CEO at Bluebricks. Hello, Idan. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm good, Barry. How are you?
Good. I'm very well, thank you. Bit cold today, but as we said, this conversation should warm us up with something really interesting,
Oh yeah.
which is your career. So, for those who don't know you, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and the company that you work at?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Idan. I'm based in Tel Aviv and traveling a lot around the world today, building my third company, Bluebricks, which is cloud distributed management platform. As I said, third company, 15 years in the tech industry, mainly around cloud infrastructure. Started my journey way back with a software development company as an agency. We grew fast. It was a different dream, different work. And then I started my second company, which was acquired by a larger and massive digital adoption leader called WalkMe back in 2021. And I believe this is the greatest spiel. I'm a father of one, happily married, and actually live today in the countryside.
Love living in the countryside. What a place to live. I'm not sure if it's the same in Israel, but for me in the UK, I love living in the countryside. Could you just tell me a little bit about your success and why you chose to go into this particular field of the software infrastructure?
So the thing was, back in 2018, when we started Zest, we were a enterprise search kind of company, and I struggled to build up the cloud infrastructure. It was very easy to do that when you click on a button and spin up a servers. But when you go and scale the product and scale the company, then you face challenges that are actually brutally impacting your business. After we sold the company to WalkMe, then I saw it in a larger global company. There you have different departments, different companies, different products. And when you want to spin up resources that are compatible, that are compliant and secured, it's a mess. The DevOps needs to write the code. They need to do their own procedures to spin up the resources. And I felt, all right, as a leader of a business unit, I need to move faster to be in advance with, like, to lead the category. So I cannot wait for the infrastructure. I need to run fast. So when I finished my successful episode at WalkMe, I decided that this will be my next challenge, specifically because I saw the emerging trend of AI and the challenges that AI companies will face and facing right now.
We will get into the topic of AI. It's obviously a hot topic whenever we have these interviews.
Sounds good.
I actually read your LinkedIn profile, and forgive me for the question, but are you a scalophobe?
I'm not a scalophobe, but I'm familiar with people that are scalophobes. Yeah.
Anyone who wants to know what I'm talking about, please visit your LinkedIn profile and you can see a little bit of a written piece on there as well. So you've had a really, really successful career. If you look at time changing in the companies that you've worked at, how is your job changing? How are the times affecting how you run and manage companies?
The biggest change that I experienced over time was moving from a CEO of a small startup that ran fast to a vice president of product and engineering in a company of 1,200 employees, which run globally. I think there I realized that you, as a manager, you need to adjust the habits and the practices that you have. Otherwise, you will try to force the large company to act like a startup, but not in a good way. So instead of increasing the velocity of the large organization, you will actually break things and step on others' tones to and create some politics disasters. So when I moved to and started running my own business unit at WalkMe, I started to adopt practices from the enterprise engineering software management, but shape them in a way that suits my pace, the pace that I wanted to run my own unit. It was very challenging. This is, I think, one of the biggest transformation that I had. And of course, from being an employee to being a founder, but this is a long time ago.
Do you find that the bigger the company is, the slower the changes, the more bureaucratic it is? And if that is the case, how do you overcome it, if you can?
My co-founder from Zest, Yam, was always talking about the Brazilian flag. The Brazilian flag, there you have the label, a small label on top of the globe, Ordeio e Progresso. It's something in Portuguese that I'm not a speaker, but it means order and progress. And I think when I actually digested the idea, I realized that it doesn't really matter what is the size of the organization, as long as you have the strict order and you as a manager, you enforce everyone to follow the protocols and the workflows and the procedures that you define with your team, of course, then you can progress and then the pace can go up. So I think it does matter what is the size of the organization, because sometimes you need to use other organizations' services, like this is a bottleneck. But if as a company, as a business unit, you can ensure that everyone actually follow the order, then the progress is faster. And I think this is the key point in my management style.
Okay, so you mentioned AI earlier, so probably now is a good time to go in and leap into it. We don't have to talk about AI only, but if we talk about tech trends within the business, things that are catching your interest or that are becoming popular within the industry,
Yeah.
what are they and what are the driving factors behind their significance?
Actually, I like the idea of AI, like everyone, but we are taking a different approach toward the AI, because when I see AI, I see a big privacy threat, right? Because you feed in the prompt with a lot of data and you are not really understand where it goes. It's like the early days of the cloud, the early days of the mobile phones that you actually don't know. You use the phone, but you have no idea where the data is. And this is actually similar to the GPT and prompts that you use on a daily basis. And if you go to the business side of it, then it's super risky, right? Because you imagine a bank that leverage the generative AI to speed up the processes and to create shortcuts, and then the employees actually type the name of the customers and the financial status on and health. Think about the health industry. What actually people will feed the AI, and we realize that from the AI perspective, if I am a company that wants to serve those kind of businesses and organizations, I need somehow to keep that data, the sensitive data, as part of their own network. And from our perspective as a company that manage distributed infrastructure, this is a massive opportunity, because when we think about it, an AI company that have one single customer, it's easy to deploy some of their databases and modules as part of the customer infrastructure. But once you have 10, 200, 2,000 and more customers, managing those distributed agents and distributed modules is becoming a real challenge. How you create the promotion of an update, how you manage and create alignment between the versions that you have, how you collaborate with the other side, with the customer, when you want to update the module, and how do you want to update your module, because you need to follow their schedule. So when we see AI, we are not following that. Use AI to be more productive, but we think how we can enable the AI to be safe and to be adopted by the largest organization in the world.
Do you think that stakeholders have the same kind of concerns or the same enthusiasm for AI that you as a company do?
Which stakeholders?
You can choose any and all.
Stakeholders in general.
Yeah.
I think so. Everybody wants it. It's a magical interface, right? And I think AI also is like a dog, right? It makes you to generate more dopamine, right? Because it always the answers are always satisfying in a way that all right, I'm feeling better, I'm smarter. So I believe everyone wants it, and it will change the world at some point. Like it's changing the world. And,
When you talk about changing the world, are you very much pessimistic, or do you have a more optimistic approach of how AI will change the world? Do you subscribe to the apocalyptic scenario that some people have with AI, or are you very pragmatic?
no, I think it will balance itself. I saw many pictures of back in the days. People were always with newspapers when they commute, and everybody said this is a disaster. This is the It will destroy the next generation of youngsters. And now we have the same similar pictures, but with the mobile, with the phone. And I believe it will be the same. It will balance itself in a way. Today, it's like bombarding LinkedIn, right? Everywhere you see generated content, that answering generated content. It's like a loop. But at some point, I believe that people will want this direct communication between humans. And I see it even in my emails. When I send an email that I'm really like, my intention is pure, like I'm really wants to meet the other side, I really wants to communicate with the other side, then the reply rate is much higher than if I launch a campaign that even that my prompts are pretty good and I'm satisfying with the result. Somehow it feels still maybe it's another level of energy that passes through the electrical devices. I don't know.
We're approaching a philosophical conversation here, and it's really interesting. Could you, if you are able to, outline any primary focal points or ongoing projects or endeavors that you're allowed to talk about the company at the moment?
I think the most interesting part is the AI that I mentioned, all the self-hosted trend that we see. It can be part of the cybersecurity industry and AI and ML ops, all those, and even single tenancy. Like companies, the privacy is a really big thing with the internet and devices and data. And we do see more and more companies that want to create a single tenancy architecture for their cloud services or to deploy, as I mentioned, self-hosted solutions for their customers. And we do see that now if we back in the days, we went to a SaaS architecture that are centralized. Now we see a hybrid kind of infrastructure that you have the control plane, which is a SaaS solution, but the processors, the agents, the scanners are distributed, are deployed on the customer side. And then it's like a mixture that every company needs to gap somehow. And I think this is very interesting trend. And I suggest to read the Gardner report about it. There is beautiful numbers about how actually organizations will continue to adopt more. They call it privacy enhanced computation or something that is a very
We love new terminology, don't we, in this industry? Okay, so basically, how do you keep up to date with the latest developments, like especially considering the rapid change within the industry at the moment?
One word which is very important for a startup is focus. I'm a fan of the One Thing book. I don't remember the author, forgive me. But you can visit my website, idan.yalovich.com, and you will find a list of my books. But we are focusing on one thing. We are trying to avoid any distraction, anything that will take us out of this. And I believe that if you are persist and continue doing that and following that sign of oil or like the get the feedback from the market, then you will keep up and be at the edge of any trend that you follow. At some point, like we were at WalkMe, you can actually replicate those channels. So you can have this micro company or a company that within the larger company to follow that trend, and that trend. And even there, I believe that you need to focus. If this is your industry, this is until you go to be, even if you go, if you, even the largest companies in the world, when you think about it, they have one, two, three, four line of businesses, and this is hard to maintain all of them. And in at least one of them, they are probably the most advanced company in the world. So this is my belief, and this is what we do at Bluebricks.
Amazing, and thank you for sharing that. I think that's a really interesting perspective. So if we move a little bit away from the technology and talk about like the team dynamics, kind of people that you work with, what kind of qualities are you looking for? What kind of characteristics do you want when you're looking to employ people and that you want around you?
I think this is, I have another word for it, and it's proactive. I think, and my team is comprises of proactive people that when they see something that is not in the shape that we want as a company, they will chase after that until it like back in the shape. And they will raise the flags, they will run fast and be, and even if they are alone, they know that they need to follow the order and progress culture. So this is the people that I'm looking for. And I think the second word that I can set for it is communication. Once you proactive, you need to communicate well with your colleagues and with your team. And we are a company that works in a remote first kind of, we are remote first company. So most of our people, most of the engineering team, most of the GTM team is like everyone is scattered. Everybody can sit wherever they want. We have people from, we are actually making peace. We love it because despite the geopolitical conflicts that we see around the world, we have people from different cultures, and we realize that we can communicate. We love each other as humans. We want to be in peace. We want to create together. And all this geopolitical shit actually takes us down. Yeah, proactive and communication.
Perfect. Now, unfortunately, we are coming close to the end of the time. So I always like to ask one more question just before we end. And that is, you've obviously had a very successful career. If someone was looking to start up their own startup or wanted to become an entrepreneur, what advice would you give them?
One advice: listen to yourself, because everybody will tell you what you need to do, and you will meet so many advisors and so many VC partners that tells you, all right, you need to do that, you need to focus that, you need to listen to yourselves. If you are in a position that you are starting something, it means that you have something in mind that pushes you. So listen to that and try to avoid all the noise outside, because even if you will fail on your first run, it's fine. It's part of the journey, and probably you won't. If you won't listen to others, and if you will follow your guts, then I believe that you will succeed.
Amazing advice. Thank you, Idan. I know you're really busy, so thank you so much for taking out time from your business today. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for having me, Barry.
That was Idan Yalovich, founder and CEO at Bluebricks.